Italy was a melting pot of different cultures. To the north were the Etruscans and Celtic tribes. In the centre were the Latin and Italian tribes. And on the tip of the peninsula was a large concentration of Greek colonies in an area called Magna Graecia. The Latin Romans would eventually threaten the established Greek colonies, with the state of Epirus springing into action to defend their Greek cousins in Italy. The Kingdom of Epirus was a Greek kingdom located in the Western Balkans. The area had been occupied since at least the Neolithic times by seafarers and traders. These seafarers brought with them the Greek language. The people occupying Epirus during this time frame buried their leaders in large tombs. By the end of the 2nd millennium BC, the Dorians migrated via invasion into Greece via Epirus and Macedon, although the reason why they did this has been lost to history. By the 1st millennium BC, 3 distinct tribes had emerged in Epirus, with the centre of the region being occupied by a tribe called the Malaysians. By 370 BC onwards, the Malaysians were expanding their power at the expense of rival tribes. However, the forming state began to experience harsh raids from the neighbouring Illyrian tribes, who, just by chance, were also raiding nearby Macedon. Recognising they had a common enemy, the two powers allied, with the alliance being sealed by the marriage of the Epirite princess Olympias to King Philip II of Macedon. Olympias and King Philip eventually had a son, and his name was Alexander. Following his father's death, Alexander would lead an exhibition against the huge Persian Empire, eventually overthrowing the Persians and carving out a huge empire for himself, being given the title of Alexander the Great. Now, whilst this was happening, Alexander's uncle, also called Alexander just to make things more confusing, led an exhibition into southern Italy, supporting the Greek cities of Magna Graecia against the Italian tribes. Although initially successful, Alexander eventually was defeated by a coalition of Italic tribes in 331 BC. The subsequent fallout of Alexander the Great's death in Babylon resulted in Greece briefly being controlled by the ambitious general Cassander, who, in either 313 BC, dethroned the Epirite king, with his young Epirite prince, Pyrrhus, fleeing to Egypt, befriending the Ptolemies, and eventually returning to retake his kingdom. In 281 BC, Pyrrhus answered the call to aid the Greek city-states of Tarentum in Magna Graecia against the Romans. Pyrrhus would go on to defeat the Romans several times, utilising war elephants in the region for the very first time. However, the losses Pyrrhus sustained were so high that it is believed he had said something along the lines of "another victory against the Romans and we shall be utterly ruined." Pyrrhus then turned south, invading Sicily after being offered the crown of the Greek city-states in the region. However, his campaign in this region would prove to be unsuccessful, with Pyrrhus eventually returning to Italy. However, after a battle in 275 BC, Pyrrhus lost all of his Italian holdings and returned to Epirus. With his campaign in Italy in ruins, Pyrrhus went to war with Macedon in 275 BC, and briefly ruled over the regions of Macedon and Thessaly until 285 BC. After this, he invaded southern Greece, being killed by an old woman throwing a brick at him in a street battle in the Greek city of Argos. With Pyrrhus' death, Epirus became a minor power, with the royal family being deposed in 233 BC. With this, the Epirite League was set up, and managed to remain neutral during the first two wars between Rome and Macedon. However, Epirus did not survive the third war, being conquered eventually by the Romans. Thank you for watching and listening. All sources are listed and linked in the description below. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe. I've been the Ancient History Guy, and as always, I'll be seeing you later.